Watched a ripper movie last night. All right, which franchise are we ruining this time? Hazza Potto and the Half-Limp Cock. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, I was a little confused when...
Wingardium Leviosa.
Come on, man, this bit's getting a little bit stale. Just let me share my bloody Netflix password with you. They're not on Netflix anymore, you dickhead. They're on Max now. I thought it was back to being called HBO Max again. Shut up. Also, Netflix don't let you do that anymore because they're bleeding money faster than an anemic woman on her period. Come on, man, that's just gross. So, the movie starts with the classic Warner Brothers logo, which I feel like is a little bit darker every film. I had to bloody check the brightness settings on my TV. There's nothing wrong with your TV, it was just a stylistic choice. Well, it's a shit one. Anyways, we jump right to where we left off the last one, don't we? Hazza and Dumbledore are talking to the press at the Ministry of Sound right after their big fight with the world's most evil leukemia patient, Lord Voldemort. Cool, right into the action. I like it. No, mate, there's no action. They're all just snapping photos of Hazza and Dumbledore for the paper, wondering why an old man is hanging out with a young boy in the Ministry after hours. Yeah, that does seem a bit sus. Kind of like how Marty McFly and Doc Brown are always hanging out alone in his lab late at night. Right? Like, where are his bloody parents? Anyways, Hazza looks fucking rough, doesn't he? His face is all smashed up from his fight with leukemia and his gang of evil dick eaters. You mean Death Eaters? Yeah, that's the one. Why didn't Dumbledore heal Harry before they went on this giant press tour? Well, because Dumbledore is a massive cunt and he's raising Hazza for slaughter, so he really doesn't care what his quality of life is like, does he? What a cunt. That's what I just said. Anyways, we cut from that high-octane intro at the Ministry to an even more exciting location. Wouldn't really call a press conference high-octane, but you're gonna go on. Well, we see people working in a bloody office, don't we? Like a magic office or just a regular office in the centre of London? Well, that's not very exciting at all. No, it isn't. But get this, everyone's only looking out the bloody window, aren't they? Oh shit, is a plane about to hit the building? Are the Death Eaters pulling like a 9/11 or something? Nah, mate, it's even more exciting than that. There are some dark clouds gathering in the sky. Oh, for fuck's sake, will you stop trying to dress this up? This is a pretty weak start. Yeah, I know, sorry. But get this, bloody black streams of magic erupt from the clouds and we see that massive necrophiliac sign in the sky that the Dick Eaters like to make. Now we're bloody talking, so the wizards are finally attacking the bloody muggle world. That's right. Anyways, they're bloody tearing up the place like priests at a preschool, and then they smash through the walls into Diagon Alley and they fucking blow up Ollivander's shop. And then they take him hostage. Shit, not Ollivander. Wait, who was Ollivander again? Remember that old bloke all the way back in the first film who gave Hazza his wand? Not really. Yeah, me either. But they bloody kidnap him, don't they? At least I think it's him. You can barely see what's going on. It's bloody filmed so badly. Feels a little bit sloppy for what I imagine must be a pretty big plot point. Yeah, apparently it is in the book, but it's never addressed again in this movie. Great. So it's just lazy writing then. Oh, it's super lazy. Anyways, they go and bloody destroy the Millennium Bridge and it collapses right into the bloody water. Whoa, they really are wreaking havoc, aren't they? So how many people died? They weirdly chose the time of day that no one was walking on it. So the Death Eaters really aren't that threatening, are they? It's almost like they're going out of their way not to harm anyone. Yeah, they're pretty weak. So what do the muggles do now that the wizards are out in the open like this? Yeah, they don't do anything at all, mate, because the next day we cut to Hazza in a muggle cafe and literally no one mentions it at all. Really? Yeah, but get this, Hazza, he's only bloody chatting up some super cute chick, isn't he? Oh, Hazza, you dirty dog. Yeah, and he's super smooth. He straight up asks her what time she finishes her shift and everything. He even manages to hide his boner under that newspaper he's reading, you know, so she can't see his real intentions. Damn, so sounds like Hazza's gonna get laid then. Nah, mate, because old mate Dumbledore rocks up to the bloody train station, doesn't he? He does? Yeah, he does. And then they start talking about what Hazza's been up to all summer. Oh, I bet it's something exciting if Dumbledore is bringing it up like this. Nah, mate, apparently Hazza's just been riding trains around in the tube for months on end. What? Why? No idea. What happened to the Dursleys? I thought he stayed there over the school break. Yeah, I know, right? Every movie starts with the Dursleys and their specko kid Dudley, but not this one. Why not? Never explained. I think the audience felt the franchise outgrew the concept of the Dursleys after the first film, but for some reason, Warner Brothers just kept clinging on to them. Good point. So what happens next? Well, Dumbo, he's like,
"Take my hand, you little wanker. We're going."
And then Hazza, he's like, "But Professor, I have a date. A girl is actually into me for once. This might be my only chance ever to get laid."
"Oh, piss off, Harry. We both know you're going to die a virgin covered in a mountain of crusty tissues, so quit your bitching and let's go."
It's a bit harsh. So where do they go after that? Well, that's just it, isn't it? They go to a small town called Budleigh Babberton. Budleigh Babberton, that can't be a real place. You're right, it's not. But England, they do have some pretty sus names for places. Places like Cockfoster and Bellend. So you're telling me there's actually a real place called Bellend? It sure is, look it up. Anyways, Dumbo was impressed that Hazza didn't throw up. Okay, why would he do that? Well, apparently the first time people apparate, they throw up worse than any chick who tries to deep throat Danny D's cock. You make way too many Danny D jokes, man. I reckon we can make a few more. Anyways, he goes to Hazza.
"I bet you're wondering why I brought you here, you specky little twat."
And then Hazza is like, "Not really, sir. After all these years, I just sort of go with it. You know, because Dumbo smokes too much chuff and he spends all night doom scrolling on Grindr, so his plans never really make any sense at all. Anyways, they rock up to a townhouse and the front door is smashed in worse than Riley Reid's asshole. Gross. So are Dumbledore and Haz are going to start solving magical crimes together? This movie sounds sick. Nah, mate, that would be pretty sick though, actually. They just sort of go inside and start whispering very loudly. Why the hell would they do that? Well, because Dumbledore is looking for a friend of his and he wants to call out to him, but he also doesn't want the intruder to hear him either. I mean, if his friend can hear him, then surely so can the intruder. Yeah, I know, but like I said, he's a massive chuffhead and he doom scrolls on Grindr every night, so his plans are more fucked up than Riley Reid's asshole. That is the second time you've mentioned her asshole. No, it isn't. Then get this. Hazard sees blood dripping from the ceiling, doesn't he? Oh no, so there's been like a murder. Well, that's just it, we don't know. Okay, so what does Dumbledore do? Well, he just walks up to the dripping blood and has a taste of it, doesn't he? Oh, what the fuck? I know, right? That is a really good way to get AIDS. Yeah, it's some real Hannibal Lecter shit. Surely this is just like a play on the audience's expectations and it's just like spilled wine or something like that, yeah? No, mate, it is blood. They confirm it in the next scene. Jesus Christ. And next up, Hazard and Dumbo walk into the lounge room and an armchair transforms into a bloody person. So Dumbledore is looking for Optimus Prime? Yeah, I think so. I can't really remember. Anyways, Optimus Prime wants to know how Dumbo knew he was a transformer and not a bloody armchair. And what does he say? Well, Dumbo says it was because he tasted the blood and he knew it wasn't human. But it was still blood though, right? Yeah, it was definitely blood. So how does that explain that he was transformed into an armchair? No idea. They just leave that plot hole dangling, don't they? Anyways, it turns out this bloke isn't Optimus Prime at all. He isn't? No, mate. His name is actually Horace Slughorn, and he reckons that he was the one that smashed up the place because he was hiding from the Dick Eaters. So let me get this right. He's pretended to smash up the place to make it look like the Death Eaters had already been there, even though the Death Eaters themselves would remember having been to the place and having smashed it up in the first place. Yeah, that's right. Makes sense to me. Anyways, Dumbo, he says that he doesn't want to stand around in this mess because he can see empty condoms on the floor and some old school 70s porno mags. You know, the kind of porn when chicks still grew a bush? So he uses this super sick spell that completely fixes the place and reverses all the damage. Oh, snap, that's cool. Yeah, I know, right? It's probably one of the best special effects in the whole franchise, but the introduction of this spell kind of completely breaks the logic of the already shaky magic system. I see. So then Dumbo says that he needs to use the shitter. So he takes one of the old porno mags and he goes upstairs. Why does he need the magazine? Why doesn't he just check his phone on the toilet like a normal person? Chances are someone's probably watching this on the toilet right now. We can see what you're doing, you sick fuck. Anyways, Dumbledore walks off to have a wank and Slughorn shouts out,
The answer is still no, you crazy old bastard.
and what does he mean by that? Well, it's a bloody J.J. Abrams mystery, isn't it? Fuck, not another one. Right? Anyway, Slughorn and Hazard stare at each other awkwardly for about 5 minutes, and then he's like,
You look a lot like your father, except you have your mother's.
My mother's eyes. Yes, I know, you cunt. Everyone says that. Jesus, Hazard seems a little bit tense. Yeah, well, Dumbledore kind of ruined his chances to get laid, and now he has blue balls bigger than pineapples. I guess that's fair. Anyway, Slughorn shows Hazard his Wall of Fame, where he has a collection of photos of his favourite Hogwarts students. A grown man has pictures of other people's kids on his wall. That's a little out of pocket, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Turns out he's a slug-horny old bastard. Nice one. Thanks. Anyways, he's banging on about how all these kids were people he taught back in the day, and now some of them are famous Quidditch players, ministers, blah blah blah. And Hazard, he's trying to concentrate on what he's saying, but he's also trying to ignore the fact that Slughorn looks like he might have taken a shit in the corner of the room and wiped his ass with a newspaper. Gross. So then Hazard picks up a photo of another kid who's apparently SiriusBlacked.com's younger brother, Regulus Arcturus Blacked.com. And then Slughorn starts banging on about how he taught a lot of the Blacked.com family, but he regrets that he didn't get the whole set. The set. That kind of sounds like how a serial killer might describe his victims. Yeah, I know, and to make it worse, while Hazard's looking at the photo, Slughorn is just staring at the back of his head like he wants to make his skin into a lampshade. Jesus Christ. But don't worry, Dumbo comes back from taking a shit before he can get all Jeffrey Dahmer on him. Apparently Dumbledore's getting tested for IBS, and he reckons that he might have a gluten intolerance, which means that he has to be at least 10 meters away from a toilet at all times. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm the same, to be honest with you. Yeah, me too. Anyways, Dumbledore and Hazard say they're gonna piss off now. But old Slughorny, he starts to look bloody worried, doesn't he? He's worried that Dumbledore clogged the toilet and didn't tell him. Nah, mate. But yeah, I hate when people do that. Now, he's worried about that the Dick Eaters might come back to try and kill him, isn't he? And Dumbledore, he's like,
I wish you'd reconsidered coming back to teach at Hoggies, my friend. But I guess the next time I see you, you'll be dead.
that's a bit harsh, right? Anyways, Hazard and Dumbo, they walk out of the house, and then Slughorny, he's like,
All right, fine. I'll come back and teach at your shitty school, you old bastard. But I want a better office. The last one you gave me didn't have a window, and there was a dead schoolboy in the corner.
Jesus Christ, right? I mean, at least clean up the mess first. Then Dumbo, he's like,
Slughorn is going to try and collect you, Harry, and I need you to let him.
wait, so Dumbledore is deliberately putting Hazza in the sights of a potential predator? Yeah, exactly. But this whole scene kind of seems a little pointless. If they had have established at the start that Dumbledore's plan was to try and go to this house to convince Slughorn to return to Hogwarts, then at least the scene would have had stakes. Instead, he just sort of agrees right after the fact that we found out that that's what his plan was. Yeah, that's true. It kind of just feels like things are happening just to move the plot forward at this point. Exactly. It's bad writing. Super bad. Now, that was a good film. Anyways, this might be the worst Harry Potter adaptation of them all, so buckle up, for fuck's sake. All right, keep going. So then Dumbledore apologizes for fucking up Hazza's date, and Hazza's like, it's all right, I'll just go back and apologize. And then Dumbledore goes,
You're not going back there ever, you fucking morons.
Jesus, well, where are they off to now? Well, that's the thing, right? We cut to the Burrow, and Ginny sees that Hazza's owl and bags are there. So she gets super wet in her undies, and she starts running around the house asking where Hazza is. Gross. So they don't even know he's coming. Nah, mate, apparently Dumbledore's just bringing him there to stay without any of the Weasleys' permission. That's a little bit rude, isn't it? Yeah, I know. It's massive contact. Anyways, Ginny gives him a big old hug, and then she eye-fucks the shit out of him. And then Ronno's mum does too. Really? Yeah, mate. Then Hazza is thinking maybe he can wrangle himself a situation where he sleeps with both the mum and the daughter at the same time. You know, like that mum and daughter duo on OnlyFans. Gross, that's not a real thing, is it? Yeah, mate, that's a thing. How the hell are people openly profiting off incest? Well, because it's 2025 and the doomsday clock is at 89 seconds to midnight. Jesus, is that bad? I don't know. I've never really understood the doomsday clock. Like, who maintains it? Does it run on batteries? Does Rolex make it? Who fucking knows? Anyways, Hazza's not the only random kid at the Burrow, is he? Bloody Hermo's there too. And let me tell you, it looks like she's been there a while. So her dad is okay with her sleeping over at a 16-year-old bloke's house for an unspecified amount of time. There's nothing to worry about, is there? Because Ronno's like, hey Hermione, you've got toothpaste on your lip. But then we see the toothpaste stains on Ronno's pants, so we definitely know it wasn't toothpaste. Jesus Christ. Anyways, then we cut to Hermo, Ronno and Hazza, who are having a yak upstairs. Apparently Ronno's mum was almost not going to let him go back to Hoggies this year. Why? Because the world's most notorious serial killer is after his best friend and has an entire army at his disposal, and her son might get caught in the crossfire? Yeah, exactly. Well, that sounds fair enough to me. I know, right? But she only bloody lets him go, doesn't she? What? So next up we cut to Narcissa Malfoy and Bellatrix Lestrange sneaking through the streets of some backwater town. How do you know that they're sneaking around? Well, they have their hoods up because they don't want to be seen or identified. But you can still see their faces and they're speaking with a regular indoor talking voice. Yeah, that's right. Idiots. Anyways, they knock on some random door. You'll never guess who bloody answers. Is it Tim Allen? Who? You know, the home improvement guy. Buzz Lightyear. Oh, you mean Chris Evans. Chris Evans? Fuck off. We pretend that movie doesn't exist. Whatever. No, it's not Tim Allen, whoever the fuck that is. All right, settle down. Who is it then? It's bloody Wormtail, isn't it? And you'll never guess who he takes them to see. Are we seriously going to do that same bit twice in a row? Oh yeah, good point. It's bloody Snape-o, isn't it? What the hell are they going to see him for? Well, that's just it. They're kind of talking around the real reason she's there. You know, so it's a mystery for the viewer. This is such an annoying trope. No one would ever talk like that. They would just be more explicit. Yeah, exactly. And Wormtail, he's hanging out in the doorway, hoping that Bellatrix and Narcissa will start making out. You know, just like those two sisters on OnlyFans. Why the hell do you know so many incestuous OnlyFans models? Piss off. That's why. Also, since when are they sisters? Well, since that super brief shot we saw of SiriusBlack.com's family tree in the previous movie. How the hell were we supposed to remember that? I know, right? Anyways, apparently Malfoy has promised to do something for Voldemort, hasn't he? And Narcissa, she's scared because she knows her son is just a whiny little bitch and he'll probably fuck it up like he always does. I mean, that's fair, right? Yeah, true. Anyways, Snape tells Narcissa to whip out her wand. So Draco's mum's trans. What? Nah, mate, her wand, not her cock. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes much more sense. And get this, he only makes the unbreakable vow, doesn't he? And he promises that he will do whatever it is that Draco Malfoy has been asked to do by Voldemort if Draco fails. What's the unbreakable vow? Yeah, no idea. I've never really heard of it before. But they play it super dramatically, and they hope that we'll just forget that J.K. Rowling's just kind of making this shit up as she goes along. Not a great plan. I know, right? What's even weirder is that Bellatrix Lestrange is making them recite vows. You know, like they're entering into a marriage or something. Really, that's weird. Yeah, it sort of feels like the movie is insinuating that marriage is a curse that will claim the lives of anyone who enters into one. I mean, they're not wrong, right? Yeah, good point. Anyways, next up we cut to Weasley's Wizard Wheezers. Cool. And what the hell is that? Apparently it's some sort of magical store that Fred and George run now. Let me guess, this was some sort of big plot point that makes no sense in the movie but was thoroughly explained in the books. You better believe it, mate. And get this, they sell all kinds of shady shit in there. Like love potions that make people fall in love with you against their will. So they're like magical roofies. Exactly. And all the bloody girls, they want some, don't they? That's a little bit out of pocket, isn't it? Yeah, mate, it's super dark. But let's not pull on that string too much. It's only going to slow us down. And next up, we see some bloke who looks like the dictionary definition of some frat boy eyeing off Hermo hardcore. Who's he? No clue. And then some crazy chick with wild eyes, she starts eyeing Ronno off as well. And who's she? No clue. And why are they in the movie? No clue. For fuck's sake. Anyways, this store kind of feels like that old Silk Road site. You know, the one on the dark web that openly sold drugs and weapons to people, had them delivered to their homes through UPS, like it was fucking Amazon.com or something? It's nothing like that at all. Yeah, true. Anyways, Ronno asks for a discount because he's their brother, and Fred and George tell him to go sit on a greasy fat one. Gross. So then the three of them leave, and you'll never believe this. Diagon Alley's bloody trashed, isn't it? Didn't we see that happen at the start of the movie? Yeah, we did, but now we're supposed to be sad about it. Why? Well, because they're telling us to be sad about it. And get this, Ollivander's store's been all smashed up as well. Yes, I know, we already saw this fucking happen at the start of the movie. Could you just shut up and go with it for once, mate? Oh, that really sucks. How was that? Oh, it's much better. But get this, right? When they're in Ollivander's burnt down shop, Ronno spots bloody Malfoy and Narcissa, doesn't he? So Malfoy's up to something, sus. You better believe it, mate. So Ronno, he's like, "Oi, Potter, you cunt. Is it just me? Or does it look like Draco and Narcissa are acting like two people that don't want to be followed?" A little bit harsh, but go on, what's next? Oh, they bloody follow him. And they only go into Borgin and bloody Burke's, don't they? Where? Remember that super sus shop that Hazza saw Lucius Malfoy go into in the Chamber of Secrets? Not really. Well, it's there. Whatever. I mean, you don't say. Thank you. So anyways, they sneak into the store, don't they? So Hazza, Ronno and Hermo, they sneak up onto a bloody roof to see if they can sneak a peek at what's going on. How do they know they'll be able to see from all the way up there? Yeah, no idea. But they only bloody do, don't they? And Draco, he's stroking some big thick cabinet, isn't he? Was that a stretch at a masturbation joke? No, it's an actual cabinet. Jesus, mate, get your mind out of the gutter. Are you honestly telling me to get my head out of the gutter? Anyways, just when it looks like they're about to do some shady shit, some wolf-looking bloke closes the blinds so they can't see anything. And how did he know they were watching? Yeah, he doesn't. And it's nighttime, so there's really like low visibility, so I have no idea why he's even playing with the blinds at all. That's weird. I know, right? So next up, we cut to Hazza, Ronno and Hermo, who are on the Hoggies Express on their way to Hoggies Castle. And you won't believe this. Ginny, she's flirting hard with Dean Thomas. She even shows him her fluffy little pink thing. Her what? Mate, it's just a little magical creature, not a sweaty beaver dam. Why does everything have to be so filthy with you? Because you phrase things so suspiciously. I don't even know when you're doing it on purpose anymore. Yeah, I guess we'll never know. Anyways, Hazza, he can't get Malfoy stroking his thick and sturdy cabinet out of his bloody mind, can he? You're doing it again. You're making it sound like the cabinet is a big cock. What? No, I'm not. Anyways, Hazza, he reckons that he saw some white goo fly out the top of the cabinet right after Malfoy stroked it. For fuck's, I give up. And then Hazza reckons that they just witnessed Malfoy's initiation into the Dick Eaters. But Hermo and Ronno, they reckon that Hazza's just been sniffing glue again, and they don't believe him. But didn't they see everything Hazza saw? Yeah, they did, but apparently now they're not fazed at all. Even though it was Ronno who said that he was acting suspicious in the first place, and then they saw Malfoy and all those shady people go into a back alley store just to watch him stroke a big cabinet until it splooged. Gross. Anyways, we cut to Malfoy, and you'll never guess who he's talking to. Crabbe and Goyle? No, mate, it's bloody Blaise Zabini and Pansy Parkinson, of course. Okay, who the hell are they? Yeah, no idea. Apparently the actor that played Crabbe was busted for drugs that he had slithering up his asshole. So they replaced his character with Blaise. And they didn't really tell us that at all on screen, so you're just kind of left thinking that Crabbe is black now, which feels kind of racist in a way that I haven't quite put my finger on yet. I think the internet's decided that it's only racist if you recast a black actor with a white one though, right? That makes zero sense, mate. Why would it only work one way around? I mean, what's next? They make Snape black. Let's not touch that one. We don't do politics on this channel, remember? Yeah, good point.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Professor, check it out. I filled up my Chokadex.
Great work, Ashley.
Hey, my name's Ash.
For legal reasons, it's Ashley, so just shut up about that.
Aww.
But I'm afraid your Chokadex is far from full. There are no longer 150 Chocomon.
There's not.
No, because we needed to invent more for merchandising and games, so we could milk this franchise for another 30 years.
Oh, well, how many are there now?
10,000.
10,000? I'll never be able to find them all.
Well, don't worry, you can throw out that dusty old Chokadex and use Odoo's recruitment app instead.
Odoo? I'd never heard of that Chocomon.
No, Ashley, you fool. Odoo isn't a Chocomon. It's the name of this video's sponsor.
Oh, I get it. We're doing a bit.
Check this out. You can use its online scheduling feature so that you can interview your Chocomon and they can come to you. No need to wander around in the bushes and wait for random encounters.
Why the hell would I want to interview a Chocoman?
Well, you don't want to end up with 10,000 Tragicarp, do you?
I guess I see your point.
And you can even track a Chocomon's evolution through your recruitment pipeline with this handy visualization. Once the evolution is to your liking and criteria, send them an offer to join your team.
Wow, this will make getting Chocoman much easier. Goodbye, Chocadex.
Hey, that was company property. You're going to pay me back for that?
Aww.
Anyways, Hazza, he uses a blackout bomb that he got from Fred and George's store to sneak into the carriage and listen to Malfoy under the invisibility cloak. So Hazza has been reprimanded twice for using basic spells outside of school, but Fred and George can sell magical weapons like they work at the Continental in John Wick. Well, I mean, Lockheed and Martin can legally sell weapons to both sides of an active conflict just to make a profit, so I guess no one really cares about small stuff like this, right? Yeah, true, fuck those cunts. Anyways, Malfoy, he hears Hazza rip a massive fart up from his hiding place in the luggage rack, doesn't he? So he knows what's up straight away, and he's like,
I'd know the smell of that asshole anywhere. Potter!
gross. He doesn't say that. Nah, he doesn't, but it's heavily implied. Anyways, the train has stopped, so he tells everyone to get off the train, and then he closes the blinds. Okay, that sounds sus. What's he gonna do? Well, once the blinds are closed, he turns around and he's like,
Didn't Mummy ever tell you that it's rude to eavesdrop, Potter? Petrificus totalis!
and then Potter drops to the bloody ground as stiff as a board, and his invisibility cloak rips off, but it gets caught on his bloody cock. What? How? Well, that spell makes your whole body stiff, right? Only makes sense that your cock would be too. I guess you're right. Anyways, Malfoy, he kicks Hazza in the head and breaks his bloody nose, doesn't he? And then he throws the invisibility cloak back over him, and he's like,
Enjoy your ride back to London, you tosser. And by the way, your tiny cock makes mine look like a basilisk, and I'm below average at best.
gross. Anyways, just when it looks like Hazza's about to be stuck on a train all the way back to London, Luna walks in, doesn't she? And she's wearing these freaky glasses that can apparently see through invisibility cloaks. That's a bit convenient, don't you think? Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, she bloody saves him, doesn't she? And she even fixes his nose for him too. Nice. I like Luna. She's fun. Yeah, me too. And then she's like, here you go, Harry. All fixed. I'm sorry I can't do anything about your tiny cock though. And then Hazza's like, it's okay, Luna. I've just sort of grown to accept it now. Gross. She never says that, does she? Nah, mate. But she heavily implies it. You bloody know she does, mate. Anyways, Luna and Hazza have to walk to school now, don't they? Because they're late and those weird invisible horse things are all bloody gone. They don't come back to check for stray students. Apparently not. Anyways, we cut to the front gates and Professor Flitwick, he's pissed, right? Because he reckons that he's been looking all over the place for Potter and Luna. Well, why didn't he send the horses back then? Because he's a little cunt. Anyways, he asks them what their names are so he can mark them down off the list. Wait, he just said he was looking all over for them. I know, right? But remember how he loves to lick those toads they keep lying around the school grounds? So he's higher than Snoop Dogg on a Wednesday morning. That's pretty high. It sure is. Anyways, get this. They have extra security at Hoggies now, don't they? You know, because all the dick eaters are out on the loose. They even have this big shiny force field around the whole castle. And old mate Filch, he's searching everyone's bags as they come through. Seems like a bit of a violation of student rights, but I guess you can't be too careful with old mate Leukemia on the loose. That's right. Anyways, Filch, he's now sus on Malfoy, isn't he? And he's like,
What's this in your bag, you little wanker? A copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People?
what a loser. I know, right? But Snape, he's like,
Shut it, Filch. Go away and bum your cut. I can vouch for Malfoy, so he's definitely not up to something suspicious at all.
what an odd thing to say. Anyways, we cut inside and Hermo, she's shitting bricks because she's worried about what might have happened to Hazza. But old mate Rono, he doesn't care. So he's just smashing a late night bowl of Crunchy Nut cornflakes. Man, I love those. Yeah, me too. But get this, Hazza only bloody walks in and he's got blood all over his face. And then Ginny's like, oh, he's covered in blood again. He looks like he's been going down on someone with their period.
Oh, gross, Ginny. That's not period blood. It's his own blood.
And then Hermo, she's like,
Oh no! What's happened, Harry?
what does he say? Not much. He's like, piss off you two. I'll tell you later. That's a bit rude. Yeah, but remember his parents are dead and he's got a tiny cock, so that's why he's always angry. That's fair. Anyways, Dumbo gives his traditional speech to all the kiddos at Hoggies where he introduces Professor Slughorny as the new potions teacher. Wait, potions teacher? I thought he was going to be the dark arts teacher. Nah, mate, the new defense against the dark arts teacher is none other than Severus Simp. Oh shit, that was actually a pretty good fake out. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, it's not bad, hey? But get this, Dumbledore says that the kids have a right to know why everyone has been given a cavity search on their way into Hoggies. Gross. Why? Well, he's like,
Once there was a student who wandered these halls and stepped under this roof just like any other. His name was Tom Diddler.
And then everyone gasped. I thought the name Tom Riddle was a secret that only Harry and his friends had figured out in the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, I thought that too, but apparently everyone knows now. Anyways, he's like,
Today, of course, he's known all over the world as another name, and I want you to know that right now, as we speak, dark forces are trying to penetrate you.
hang on there, what? Yeah, I know, right? He was the one having them bloody cavity searched, but apparently he's worried about penetrating dark forces now. That sounds racist for some reason. Yeah, kind of. Anyways, we cut to McGonagall telling off some students. History of magic is upstairs, not down, ladies. Mr. Davis, that is the girls' lavatory. Don't let me catch you in there stealing used tampons from the dustbins again. Gross. Yeah, I know, right? And then she spots Hazza and Ronno laughing it up in the corner. So she's like, Potter, get your smelly ass over here. What are you doing just lounging about? It's my free period, Professor. I've had just about enough of periods today. Just ask Mr. Davies. Now, go to potions and take Weasley with you before someone calls the police about a scary-looking ginger incel lurking around the halls of Hogwarts. I thought he couldn't take potions this year, you know, because Snape is a cunt. Yeah, but remember, Slughorn is now the head of potions, and he wants to gobble Hazard's Philosopher's Stones, so it's all sweet now. I mean, I wouldn't say a pedo teacher is all sweet, but go on. Yeah, true. Anyways, Ronno and Hazard get to potions late, but old Slughorn shoots some white potion out of the end of his wand when he sees that Hazard's rocked up. Gross. Oh yeah, and that chick who's been leaking between the gash every time she sees Ronno, she's there too. Gross. Nah, wait, I've said that too many times in a row now. Yuck. Anyways, Hazza and Ronno, they don't have the right books for class, do they? So Slughorn, he tells them to take whatever they need from the cupboard. That's a bit careless considering there are ingredients in there that could kill every kid at school. Yeah, I know, but remember, he's got pictures of other people's kids on his desk, so he's just a bit off in general. Classic Slytherin behaviour. Anyways, old mate Slughorn continues the sus behaviour by showing the class a big cauldron of that magical roofie stuff he calls love potion. And all the girls, they're super into it, especially Hermo. What the fuck is wrong with all the girls at this school? I don't know. I think they all grew up reading Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey, so they're all cooked now. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually. Anyway, Slughorn, he tells them about this even more dangerous potion called Felix Felicis. What does that do? Well, it makes the person who drinks it super lucky, doesn't it? Because anything they want to do will work out perfectly. Well, if it makes you that lucky, then why hasn't Voldemort bloody taken it? What do you mean? Well, if he took that potion even once, I thought he could bloody take over the world in one day. I thought he was supposed to be smart. I guess since he got leukemia, maybe his brain's just not working as well as it used to. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Anyways, get this. Slughorn says he'll give the potion to any student who can successfully make a batch of liquid death. So he's going to give a hormonal, irrational teenage student godlike powers if they successfully make a potion that can kill anyone it touches. Yeah, that's right. Nothing suspicious about that at all. Anyways, bloody Malfoy bars up big time when he hears about that, doesn't he? And all the kids start furiously making their potions, trying to win that liquid luck. Ronno, he's trying to get the luck to change the colour of his pubes. Hermo, she's trying to get it so she can roofie someone with that love potion, and bloody Hazza, he wants to go to the pokies. Smart move, right? And get this, everyone's struggling to make the potion except for Hazza, because he's the title character of the series and everyone's lives seem to revolve around him somehow. Nah, mate, because there's some weird writing in his textbook, the one that he got from the Slughorn's cupboard, that tells him little cheats on how to make all these potions. And in the front of the book, it says it belonged to some bloke named the Half-Blood Simp. Who is that? Well, it's a bloody J.J. Abrams mystery, isn't it? Right, because those always work out so well, don't they? Exactly. Anyways, Hazza, he's bloody crushing this potion, isn't he? And Hermo, she's pissed because she's struggling more than that bloke who said he was just waiting for a mate when the coppers found him drunk in his car and he'd clearly just smashed his car on the side of the road. That's a bloody niche reference, mate. Those who get it will love it, trust me. Anyways, Hazza, he only bloody wins that liquid luck, doesn't he? You mean the guy who almost wins Quidditch every match he plays and somehow flukes his way into beating Voldemort every year has somehow won some liquid luck? Yeah, that's right. And everyone's bloody filthy at him, aren't they? Especially Ronno, who finally has to come to terms with the fact that he'll probably just have ginger pubes forever. That poor guy. Anyways, next up we cut to Dumbledore's office and he's staring at Tom Diddler's old diary. You know, the one that has a stabbed with a snake tooth back in the Chamber of Secrets. That is such an odd sentence. I don't even know where to start with that. Well, let's keep going then. So Hazza walks in and Dumbo slips away the old book and the two of them engage in some of the most awkward surface level chit chat I've ever fucking heard.
Nice weather, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean it's cold, but we're in England, so I guess it's always cold.
What about Miss Granger? Are you two how shall I say, placing your genitals in an interlocking position and then gyrating backwards and forwards?
Gross. Professor, she's just my friend.
Oh, come on, Harry. You're growing up around Emma Watson, and you're telling me you've never once thought about hitting that? My lord, you're gayer than I am.
Can we just talk about something else, Professor?
Right, well, on to business then. I want to show you my wet memory hole.
Your what?
My pensive. Come on, Harry, get your mind out of the gutter.
He does not call it a wet memory hole. Well, no, he doesn't, but the senile old bastard heavily implies it. Anyways, Hazza and Dumbo look into the pensive and they see a memory of when Dumbo first met Tom Riddle at an orphanage. Shit, now we're getting something cool. I know, right? And let me tell you this, Dumbo, he looks fucking old, even all those years ago. In fact, this is supposed to be only about 10 years after that last Fantastic Beasts film. You know, the one where he was played by Jude Law. So I really want to know what the hell has happened to him in those 10 years. Maybe he was on drugs. Oh, you mean like your mum does? Piss off, I told you that in confidence. Anyways, Tom Riddle, he's exactly the kind of psycho you'd expect. He kills small animals for fun and he uses his magic to torture the other children. So Dumbledore leaves and never comes back, right? No, mate, he only bloody offers to take Tom back to Hoggies and teach him how to make his magic even stronger. What a dickhead. This is like that baby Hitler moment, but instead of bloody strangling the baby in its crib, he raises him and helps him write bloody Mein Kampf. I know, right? Anyways, then Hazza, he's like,
Sir, no offense, but you're a complete fucking idiot. You unleashed Voldemort onto the whole world.
Why is it when people say no offense, they proceed to say something wildly offensive?
Sir?
Oh, piss off, Potter. Like you've never fucked up before. Anyways, I need you to do something for me.
Sir, I'm not going to play hide the weasel again.
Oh, no, not that. No, Tom got very close to one particular teacher at Hoggies while he was here.
Slughorny. So that's why Dumbledore invited him back to teach. He wants his bloody memories. You nailed it, mate. Anyways, so now he tells Hazza that he should let Slughorn groom him so that he gets comfortable enough to reveal the information that he needs. I mean, that's a pretty messed up plan. Why not just use the truth-telling potion and slip it into his drink? Yeah, I mean, that would have made much more sense. But then there wouldn't have been the rest of the movie, would there? Fair enough. So what happens next? Well, here's the thing. We cut to Malfoy, and he's only in the room of requirement, isn't he? Oh, that's not good. What's he doing there? Well, he's found a cabinet that's just like the one at Borgin and Burke's, and he starts stroking it big time. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. He strokes it so hard that one of its veins almost bursts. Gross. So next up, we cut to the Quidditch pitch, and Hazza, he's hosting tryouts for the Quidditch team for this year. So then hang on, since when did Hazza become captain of the Quidditch team? Well, Oliver Wood graduated last year, so now he's the captain. I don't remember any of this. Nah, because it all happens off screen. And how the hell were we supposed to know? No idea. Anyways, Hazza, he's like,
Listen, chances are you're all pretty shit, but I'm going to give you a go anyway.
And then that bloke who was fucking Hermo at Fred and George's magic store, he rocks up and he's well confident, isn't he? And then he goes,
Yeah, no offense, Weasley, but you look like a kid who has mental issues with that helmet on.
Why do people always say no offense and then say something bloody offensive?
By the way, I'm going for the keeper position, so you don't stand a chance, you wanker. Also, I want to bang your friend Granger in front of you, doggy style.
And then he just catches a bloody fly out of the air like Mr. Miyagi to show him how fast he is. This guy kind of sounds like a bit of a dick, huh? Oh yeah, mate. He's a Danny D-sized dick. Anyways, Ronno, he only bloody makes keeper, doesn't he? What? But how? He's useless. Well, Hermo, she jinxes the posh bloke, so he fucks up the game by giving him testicular cancer. Jesus Christ. I know, right? What a psycho. Anyways, we cut to the common room later on, and Ronno, he's gloating big time to Hazza and Hermo, talking about how now that he's keeper, his status at school is raised, and his penis has grown over 2 inches. So it's 2 inches now? Exactly. And then Ronno says that McLaggen bloke, he's been telling everyone how he wants to bang Hermo doggy style. Who the hell is McLaggen? That Mr. Miyagi posh bloke, apparently? Okay, fair enough, I don't care. Anyways, that curly-haired chick is watching Ronno from across the room, and she's eye-fucking the shit out of him. And then some random bloke slips over in the river of juice that's leaking from her gash and smashes all his front teeth in. Holy shit! So then Hazza, he's reading that book that he got from Slughorny's class, and he asks Hermo if she's ever heard of a spell called Sectum Sempra before. Okay, well, what does she say? Well, she's like,
Hurry, you specky twat! I've never heard of that spell before, and you're a piece of shit for using that book. It's cheating.
Or you're just jealous, Hermione, you smelly vagina. Harry's even doing better than you in class.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Ronald. If I wanted to hear from a ginger-pewed virgin who will most likely die with his cock in his hand and a sad look on his face, then I would have asked.
Oh, got him. Yeah, but get this. Ginny rocks up and she snatches the book from Hazza's hands and she's like,
This book is the property of the half-blood simp. Who's the half-blood simp?
But then Hazza, he doesn't like that at all, so he walks off sulking with his cock between his legs. Isn't that where it always is? Yeah, true. Anyways, we cut to months later and the gang are walking through the snow on their way to Hogsmeade. And Hermo and Ronno, they're ripping into Hazza big time, aren't they? What are they saying? Well, apparently Hazza is so obsessed with the book that he's sleeping with it now. And Ronno says if he keeps going this way without a condom, he'll be paying that book bloody child support soon. Yeah, that's fair. Anyways, Hermo, she's still filthy at Hazza because she's jealous that he's doing so well in potions now. So she's been researching who the half-blood simp is, hasn't she? Interesting. What did she find out? Fuck all, apparently. Really? That seems like a pointless scene to put in the movie then. Yeah, I know, but then get this. Hazza overhears Slughorny tell Flitwick that he's going to get sloshed at the Three Broomsticks pub. He decides to follow him. Cheeky little bastard. So, how will they all get into the pub though? They're underage. It's bloody Harry Potter, mate. So underage kids, they're allowed to go into pubs unattended and allowed to drink butterbeer, which has a suspiciously vague amount of alcohol in it. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Anyways, get this. When they get in there, Ronno catches his sister Ginny getting bloody finger banged by Dean Thomas in the corner of the pub. Jesus, and how does Ronno react to that? Well, he's bloody spewing, isn't he? And he starts doing a back of the envelope calculation as to how much this is going to cost him in therapy bills over the next 30 years. Yeah, that's a stain that's not coming out. For sure. Anyways, Slughorny wanders over to their table and he invites Hazza and Hermo to a little party for select students he's having after hours, which sounds pretty sus. So they report him to the police and then they decline, right? Nah, mate, they only bloody say yes, don't they? Idiots. And Ronno, he's fuming because not only does he not get an invite, Slughorny totally forgets his name. What does he call him? He calls him Fuckhead. I mean, that's not his name, but that is pretty accurate. Exactly. Anyways, they're walking back through the snow and Hermo, she's staggering around like she's just lost a drinking competition with Russell Crowe. So butterbeer is alcoholic, apparently. Anyways, they stop laughing when they hear this chick start screaming louder than Riley Reid did when she did that 12-way orgy. Gross. Also, who's screaming? Well, that's the thing. It's bloody Katie Bell, isn't it? And she levitates into the air and she starts going full exorcism of Emily Rose and then she just falls to the ground like she's just jumped from the Two Towers or something. Jesus Christ, is she dead? Nah, mate, but she's pretty messed up. That's a relief. Also, who the hell's Katie Bell? No idea. I guess they just shoved her in because they needed some random student to get fucked up for this storyline. That's just lazy. Oh, it's super lazy. Anyways, then Hagrid rocks up and he takes Katie's unconscious body and he runs away with it. So Hagrid disappears into a blizzard with the unconscious body of a female student. That's not a good look at all. Yeah, I know, right? But apparently he took her straight to McGonagall and Snape'o, so there's no need to worry. Phew. But get this right, Katie's friend, another random character we don't know and certainly don't care about, she says she started going mental after she touched a necklace that somebody gave her. I'm surprised you didn't make some sort of pearl necklace joke there or something. Yeah, I was going to, but I couldn't really figure out how to make it work. Anyways, we cut to McGonagall and she's talking to Katie's friend, who reckons that Katie was supposed to give that necklace to none other than Dumbledore. Oh, snap, so it was like an assassination attempt. You know it, mate, but the bloody pelican says that she doesn't even know who gave Katie the necklace in the first place. But then she says that Hagrid gave Katie a pearl necklace on the way back to school, so he probably shouldn't be working at Hogwarts anymore. There you go, you figured it out. Anyways, McGonagall turns to Hazza, Hermo and Ronno, and she's like,
why is it whenever there's trouble or a big penis graffitied on the castle walls, it's always one of you three?
Oh!
So tell me, Professor Snape, what do you think about this pearl necklace?
I think Miss Katie is lucky to be alive. 40,000 points from Gryffindor.
What? That's bullshit. We didn't even do anything.
You were taking up valuable oxygen from this room, Potter.
And then Hazza, he claps back like, oh, piss off, you big-nosed wanker. Besides, it was Malfoy. He's the one that cursed Katie.
And how do you know that?
Look, I just know, okay?
You just know. Well, I happen to know that you'll be serving detention till your pubes are grey. Now get out of my sight immediately.
Got him. Anyways, we cut to the Gryffindor common room and Hazza, he's up late watching the Marauders fap, waiting to see if Malfoy leaves his bloody dorm. And Ronno, he's up late too, because he's worried about Ginny getting finger banged by Dean Thomas. It's a bit weird staying up late thinking about his sister like that. Yeah, it is a bit. But Hazza, he tries to calm him down by telling him how nice his sister's skin is. What the fuck? That's some serial killer shit. Yeah, it does kind of sound like he wants to turn her skin into a couch or something like that. Anyways, we cut to Slughorny's party, don't we? And it looks well shit. But to top it off, he's staring at all the kids across the table like he's on the latest episode of To Catch a Predator. That is just gross. Yeah, but that isn't half as creepy as the look McCormick has given Hermo. He's sort of sucking on his little finger, implying that he wants her to suck on something of his. Why his little finger though? Sort of seems like he's implying that he's got a small cock. Yeah, kind of does a bit. Anyways, Ginny rocks up late and Hermo reckons her eyes are red because she's been fighting with Dean Thomas again. Either that or she's been deep-throating him. Since when have they been fighting? No idea. We don't see any of this on screen either. Feels completely superfluous to the plot. But JK, she really wants to ship Ginny and Hazza, doesn't she? So we have to keep hearing about her failing with all these other blokes, hinting that she'll eventually be single and ready to date Hazza. Ugh, boring. Anyways, Hazza, he stays back late at the party to try and have a crack at getting that memory from Sluggy. Not a wise idea to be left alone with that guy, but good on him for giving it a crack. How does it go? Well, Hazza cuts right to the bloody chase, doesn't he? And he's like, "What was it like teaching Voldemort, sir?"
What? I wasn't the only one who taught him, Harry. Many teachers taught him.
I'm sorry, sir. It's just, he killed my parents. I kind of want to know what he was like, before he got leukemia.
I see. Only natural you'd want to know, you weird little cunt. But I'm afraid I must disappoint you. He was just like any other student. Now off to bed, you wanker.
That's suspicious. Big time. Anyways, we cut to the next day and everyone's having breakfast before the big Quidditch game and Ronno, he's shitting himself, isn't he? Because he knows deep down inside that he's a massive loser and he's probably going to fuck it up big time. Harsh, but true. Anyways, Hazza, he goes, "Good luck today, Ron, you ginger-pubed wanker." Then Luna, she chimes in from across the table and she's like,
"What did you put in his drink, Harry? I don't think you need to roofie Ron. He's pretty desperate. I'm sure he'd jerk you off if you asked."
And then Hermo, she's like,
"Ooh, gross, Luna. And Harry, I saw that. That was liquid luck. You could get expelled for that, you pencil-dicked wanker."
if you can get expelled for using liquid luck at school, then why can't a teacher be fired for giving it to the kid in the first place? Yeah, good point, no idea. Anyways, we cut to the big game and Gryffindor are playing those slimy Slytherin cunts. But Ronno, he's absolutely crushing being keeper, stopping almost every shot. Even Hermo's excited about it. Wasn't she just pissed off with him though? Yeah, but now she isn't apparently. I reckon it could probably be that time of the month. Anyways, we cut to the common room and everyone's frothing Ronno now, aren't they? Why though? Surely it was Hazza catching the snitch as usual that won the game. Yeah, true, it probably was. Anyways, Hermo, she's grilling Hazza about giving Ronno that liquid luck. But get this, Hazza pulls out the vial and it's still bloody full, isn't it? So he used the old reverse psychology on Ronno. He sure did. And that curly-haired chick who's been stalking Ronno finally makes her move. She starts tonguing him so hard, you can see the tip of her tongue come out his urethra. Ouch, that sounds a bit uncomfortable. And then Hermo, she's gutted, so she runs off to have a massive whinge. So Hazza, he follows her to go and cheer her up. Oh, does he finally tell her that they'd make a better couple and to tell Ron to go jog on and sit on a greasy fat one? No, mate, he just tells her how sad he feels when he sees Ginny jerking off Dean Thomas. I really wish they'd stop trying to force that relationship on us. Anyways, Ronno and the curly-haired chick burst into the room, tongue-fucking each other, and Hermo, she's so pissed off that she fires some live birds right at Ronno's head, and they all explode on the wall behind him when he ducks. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know, what a psycho, those poor fucking birds. Anyways, Hermo's like,
"How does it feel, Harry, to see Ginny with Dean?"
and then Hazza's like,
"It feels exactly like this."
and then he rips a massive fart and he puts his robe over her head to trap her with the smell. Ah, so he Dutch ovens her with his robe. That's pretty creative. Yeah, that Hazza, he's a wild cunt. Anyways, we cut to Ronno and he's walking around like he's got a Danny D-sized dick. You know, because he's made out with one girl now and he's read Neil Strauss's The Game, so now he thinks that he's God's gift to women. Isn't that the book that coined the term negging? Yeah, where you lower a woman's confidence with subtle insults so she'll sleep with you. Sounds psychopathic. Yeah, it's a book for losers about a bunch of losers. Anyways, Hazza has no luck with Ronno, so he tries to chat to Hermo because he just wants them to sort out their shit so things can get back to normal. But Hermo, she thinks Ronno's a selfish cunt whose dick looks like a shrunken can of Fanta. Fair enough if you ask me. Right? So anyways, she tells Hazza that Romilda has been trying to spike his drinks with love potion, you know, so she can finger the asshole of the chosen one. Gross. Yeah, I know, but Hazza, he's kind of into it. So Hermo, she calls him a little pervert. Got him. Anyways, she definitely isn't going to patch things up with the dud of the group soon, so Hazza suggests that maybe they go to Slughorn's Christmas party together because he can't be fucked asking anyone else. But get this, she's already bloody asked someone. Who is it? Hold your fucking horses, mate. You'll find out in a minute. Okay, settle down. Anyways, Hazza, he's gutted because now that means that he has to ask someone else to the dance. Otherwise, he'll just be dancing with his right hand tonight like he normally does. Gross. Well, then who does he ask? Shut your mouth. I'm getting to that. Hazza, he's like,
"Fine, I guess I'll ask someone else. Someone super cool. She'll make me look really good."
Ah, nice. So he asks that Fleur Delacour chick from the Boobyton school, right? Nah, mate, he only bloody asks Luna Loveballs, and let me tell you, she's dressed like the fucking rocket clock from Play School. That is such a deep cut, no one's gonna get that. Don't worry, I'll just get the editor to put an image up on screen so people will know what I mean. Oh, look, there we go. Mate, I'm the editor. Oh, well, thank you, cunt. You're welcome. So what happens next? Well, they go to the bloody party, don't they? And on the way, Luna is like,
I've never been to this part of the castle, at least not awake. I sleepwalk, you see. One day, I woke up with blood all over me and a butcher's knife in my hand. What a pickle that was.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know, right? You should probably stay away from Luna. Anyways, they pass Malfoy, who's lurking in the shadows like P. Diddy does on a Wednesday night. Okay, what's he up to then? Well, he's in jail now, covered in baby oil, isn't he? Not P. Diddy, Malfoy. Oh, well, we don't know yet. So they get to the party, and let me tell you, it looks shithouse. Slughorn, he's made all the kids who weren't cool enough to get into the Slug Club dressed like sailors and made them wait and drink food for the other students. Slug Club, Jesus Christ. It's like this guy's trying to win Pedo of the Year or something. Yeah, I know. I reckon him and Hagrid might be tied for first place. That's got to be a pretty close race, I reckon. Anyways, Hazza, he kind of does what I do at parties, and he tries to get away from all the people talking pointless nonsense, and he finds a quiet corner where he can quietly wait out the end of the world. That's a little bit bleak, isn't it? Yeah, but I fucking hate parties, all right? Anyways, Hermo looks like she's doing the same, because apparently she's hiding too. From Slughorn? Nah, mate, from McCormick. Or was it McLagan? Anyway, she brought him to the party and he's gone full Harvey Weinstein on her. Why the hell would she even invite that guy? He looks like he wants to start the next fire festival or something. Yeah, he kind of does. But I think she did it to piss off Ronno, you know, to make him jealous, because Ronno is borderline mentally handicapped. He doesn't realise that Hermo is way better than that crazy bitch he's been tonguing. Yeah, that chick has a real I'll set your clothes on fire on the front lawn vibes, doesn't she? You're telling me, mate. Anyways, Snapo catches Hazza lurking in the shadows and he's like,
Not so fast, Potter. I merely wish to convey a message. Even if you are lurking in the darkness like P. Diddy on a Wednesday.
A message? Who from?
From Dumbledore. He asked me to give you his best, and he hopes you enjoy your holiday. You see, he's been traveling, and he won't return till your testicles have dropped, so I don't expect him back for quite some time.
Got him. So where's he travelling? Well, that's exactly what Hazza says. But old mate Snapo, he just bloody walks off, doesn't he? But not before saying,
40 Googleplexes worth of points from Gryffindor.
Oh, piss off, Adam Driver. Got him. But get this, halfway through the party, Filch drags Malfoy in the room by the scruff of his bloody neck, and he's pissed because he was trying to bum his cat in the empty hallway and Malfoy ruined the mood by lurking about. Gross. Yeah, but Snapo, he's pissed too, right? And he takes Malfoy out of the room in a hurry, and Hazza, he thinks, well, this is sus, so he bloody follows him. Interesting. So now we're going to find out why Snapo took that weird magical marriage vow thing. Nah, mate, but Malfoy is like, so what if I hex that Katie Bell girl? Who cares? She's an NPC. She probably doesn't even have a soul. But Snapo, he's pissed, and he's like,
I swore to protect you, you daft prick, so please, just let me help you.
The day that I need help from an old pervert who looks like John Wick's aborted brother, I'll let you know.
Oh!
Anyways, we cut to the Hoggies Express, and Hazza tells Ronno that he overheard Snapo say that he made an unbreakable vow. What does Ronno say? Well, he says that you can't break an unbreakable vow. Well, that was fucking obvious. Yeah, that's what Hazza says. But then the crazy bitch with the wild eyes comes up and draws a love heart on the window for Ronno. Well, that's a bit much. Yeah, you can tell Ronno really hates her now, but he has no idea how to ditch her. Just say, I break up with you. Yeah, I know, but remember, he's got the IQ of a patient who's been vegetabilized by brain cancer. I don't think vegetabilized is a word, but I see your point. Anyways, Hermo rocks up and she sees the love heart on the window, so she cracks another hissy fit and she finds another carriage to sit in. And then Hazza, he asks Ronno what happens when you break an unbreakable vow. And Ronno, he goes, you bloody die, mate. And then you shit your pants, which is apparently a real thing. Yes, I know, you tell me every video. I just find it fascinating. Come on, keep going, you're wasting time. Anyways, we cut to the Burrow, and it's bloody Christmas, isn't it? And Hazza and Lupin, they're having an argument about whether or not Snapo is planning something with Malfoy. Oh, okay, well, what does Lupin think? Well, he doesn't believe Hazza either. He's like,
it comes down to whether you trust Dumbledore's judgment or not.
I mean, I don't think anyone should trust Dumbledore's judgment at this stage, right? Exactly, he's bloody cooked. Anyways, Arthur is sitting there with a pillow over his crotch, and Tonks is there too, because they wanted to remind us that she was still in the movie, even though she's done fuck all up to this point. Why does he have a pillow over his crotch? Yeah, it's never explained. Either he's got a massive chub on, or he's pissed himself and he's just too embarrassed to get up and go to the toilet. Okay, makes sense. But then get this. Ginny rocks up with some mince pies, and she's like, come on, open up you. And then Hazza, he's thinking about opening her up, isn't he? Jesus, like a serial killer? Nah, like a vagina, you weirdo. Oh, yep, that makes much more sense. Anyways, Arthur finally gets up and walks away, still holding onto the pillow because now his piss has turned into a shit. He also doesn't want to watch his only daughter suck on Hazard's tiny knob. Fair enough. But then Ronno, he comes in and sits between them, doesn't he? You know, because he's clueless and he has the brain capacity of a bludgeoning victim. So he's cock-blocked Hazard without even knowing it. Exactly, mate. And now Hazard's balls, they're bluer than that Eiffel 65 song. That's a deep cut. Anyways, Hazard, he's talking to Arthur in the shed now for some reason. And Arthur says not to worry about Lupin. He's been cranky ever since everyone at Hoggies found out he was a furry and liked to dress his girlfriend Tonks like Lola Bunny. Since when were they dating? No idea. I'm pretty sure they are. My mind might be confusing the books with the movies at this point. Anyways, Arthur reckons that all the Death Eaters are having all the members of the Order of the Three Dicks watched. You know, just like all the celebrities who went on Epstein's Island. Gross. Anyways, Hazard asks him if he knows where old mate Dumbledore went, but he says he's got no bloody clue what the old dirty bastard is up to. But he says he did find out what Malfoy was looking at in Borgin and Burke's. Interesting. What is it? It's a vanishing cabinet. Apparently you go in one end and it can transport you anywhere, just like that one in The Prestige. That was a good movie. Also, it totally transports into the room of requirement, doesn't it? You bloody know it, mate, but Hazard's blue balls are clouding his mind, so he hasn't figured that out yet. Anyways, Lupin, he's tweaking hard, and he's watching the cornfields like a crack addict watches the clock, waiting for his dealer to finish work. Okay, well, what does he think is out there? No idea, but we cut to Hazard and Ginny, who's now in her dressing gown, and then she kneels down right in front of him. Well, I guess his blue balls are gone now then? Nah, mate, they're only a slightly paler colour of blue, because just as she touches the tip, Bellatrix Lestrange bloody lights the cornfield on fire and starts taunting Hazard to come out and find her by screaming, "I killed Sirius Black! I killed Sirius Black!" So Hazard, he jumps through a small gap in the wall of fire and he legs it after her. Idiot! It's clearly a trap. You bloody know it is, mate. But Lupin and Tonks, they're too busy trying to put out the fire so they can't chase after him. But then Ginny, she legs it out of the house in her dressing gown after him. How does she get through that wall of fire? No idea. Anyways, Bellatrix, she's not alone, is she? She's brought that weird werewolf-looking bloke who was in Borgin and Burke's at the start of the film. Who is this guy? Why does he keep getting screen time? Yeah, well, in the books, he's a leader of a dangerous sect of werewolves that are big players in the Dick Eaters army. But in the movies, he just sort of stands there. Great, so he's fucking pointless then. Oh, you better believe it, mate. Anyways, because it was obviously a trap, Hazard and Ginny have to fight off both Bellatrix and the werewolf bloke, don't they? Do they win? Nah, mate, but Lupin, Arthur and Molly all manage to catch up to him and they help protect the kids so they don't get their bloody heads kicked in. That's a relief. Yeah, but while they're protecting those two wankers, Bellatrix and the werewolf bloke somehow manage to set the bloody Burrow on fire. The place is completely ruined. But the weird thing is everyone's just kind of standing around and watching it burn. Well, why don't they just use that cool fixing spell that Dumbledore used at the start? Well, that's just it, mate. The spell totally breaks the whole magic system. If you can just fix anything all the time, why the hell is anything ever broken at Hogwarts? Yeah, it just feels like one of those Deus Ex Machinas that they can pull out whenever they want, right? Yeah, that's right. It's Jesus' ex, Maria, the prostitute. That is not what I said at all. Anyways, we cut to Hazard and Hermo walking through the halls of Hoggies and she's reading a newspaper about some disappearances at the Ministry of Sound. And then she's like, "Oh no, Harry, you're lucky you weren't killed." "I know, and Ginny was just about to polish my knob." "Wait, what was that?" Nothing. But then they walk past Ronno and that crazy bitch. So Hermo says she needs to go vomit harder than that time you tried to reheat Barnacle Bill's fish tacos after they were sitting on the bench for 3 days. Ugh. Don't remind me. Anyways, we then cut to Dumbledore's office. He's back now, apparently. Since when? No idea, we never see it on screen. I guess the writers realise that the script is getting pretty bloated at this point, so the story starts to become shakier than Michael J. Fox's right leg. Come on, man, I love Michael J. Fox, leave him alone. So do I, who doesn't? But he is one shaky bastard. I guess that's true. Go on then. Well, Hazard plunges his head into Dumbledore's wet hole again, doesn't he? You mean the pensive? Yeah, that's the one. And get this, we cut back to Tom Diddler's time again, don't we? And it looks like Slughorn's had this whole pedo ring called the Slug Club going since all the way back in his time. How the hell does this guy still have a job when he's giving kids alcohol after school and requesting extended periods alone with them without any supervision? I know, right? Anyways, Diddle stays back after class and he bails up Slughorny to ask him a question. He wants to know about some dark magic, doesn't he? What kind of dark magic? Well, that's the thing. Tom's like,
"Sir, I was in the library the other day in the restricted section and I stumbled across an interesting piece of dark magic."
That's a bit racist, Tom. Why does the bad magic have to be the dark one?
"What I mean to say, sir, is would you tell me about
About? Well, that's just it. The memory glitches out and it cuts to Slughorn telling Tom Riddle to piss off and then go sit on a greasy fat one. Interesting. Yeah, and Dumbledore, he reckons the memory's been tampered with. Well, why would he tamper with a memory? Well, Dumbledore thinks that maybe Slughorn shared his Brazzers password with Tom, you know, to help a brother out. But now he's just too ashamed to admit it. I guess that's fair enough. Yeah, but Dumbledore now wants Hazard to get Slughorn to give him the real untampered memory, you know, so he can be certain. Interesting. So what clever way does Hazard come up with to get that memory? Well, he just bloody asks him for it, doesn't he? Well, that's not very clever at all. And he makes a real fucking dog's breakfast of it too. So Slughorn is now certain that Dumbledore's put him up to it. What an idiot, right? Anyways, Hazard tries again later by going to his office. But now Sluggy, he's not even going to answer the door, is he? Well, he fucked that up, didn't he? Yeah, more than George Bush fucked up his country's trust in their own government with the invasion of Iraq just to steal some bloody oil. Come on, mate, no politics here. Anyways, Hazard gets back to his room and Ronno looks like he's been sniffing poppers and smoking chuff because he looks totally cooked. Okay, well, what's wrong with him? Well, he's eaten some bloody chocolates that were left for Hazard by that Romilda chick from earlier on, and she's roofied them Bill Cosby style. So now he's all jacked up on love potions. So now Hazard, he's going to take Ronno to Slughorn to get him to whip up a cure for the love potion and use it as an excuse to talk to him, right? Exactly, mate. Have you seen this before? No, mate, it was just super obvious. Yeah, I guess it was a bit. Anyways, then he knocks on Sluggy's door again and he's like,
What is it? You should never disturb a man while he's watching what do you want, Potter? What's the matter with Wimby?
He still can't remember his name. Nah, mate, it's actually low-key funny. Yeah, I like it. Anyways, Hazard tells him that Ronno's been roofied with a love potion, so Slughorn lets them both in. Although he's still a little bit sus on Hazard because he's supposed to be really good at potions now, so he asks him why he couldn't just make the cure himself. Okay, well, what does Hazard say? Yeah, nothing. He just pretends that he didn't hear the question. Jeez, Hazard's really phoning in this mystery, isn't he? He sure is. Anyways, Slughorn whips up the cure and Ronno finally snaps out of it. But he realizes that he's actually had a rock hard boner for the past few hours and now one of his veins has solidified, so now his cock's just kind of stuck like that. Gross. So Sluggy says they should all celebrate Ronno being cured with a toast. So he starts rummaging through his old liquor cabinet and he pulls out a massive bottle of mead. He's giving mead to kids. Fucking hell, he's not even hiding his pedo behavior anymore, is he? Nah, mate. Anyways, he reckons that he was going to re-gift this bottle, so he decides to crack it open anyways. And you'll never believe this. What? Ronno takes one sip and falls over and starts frothing from the mouth. Shit, what a lightweight. Nah, mate, he's been bloody poisoned, hasn't he? I mean, lucky it was right in front of the potions master who can whip up a cure straight away, right? Yeah, you'd think so, but Slughorn just shits himself and totally freezes. So Ronno finally dies. I guess his character was getting pretty useless at this point anyways. Nah, mate, he doesn't bloody die. Hazard snaps into action and pulls out a bezoar and shoves it balls deep into Ronno's throat. Whoa, callback, because he learnt that in Snape's first potion class. Exactly, mate. Anyways, we cut to the hospital wing and Dumbo, McGonagall and Snapo, they're all there with Hermo, Hazard and Ginny. Why do we only really ever get to see 3 or 4 teachers at this school? Well, because they keep spending all of their budget changing the name of the HBO Max app, don't they? What's it called now? I think it's called HBO Ball Gobbler now. That's catchy. Anyways, Dumbledore's like,
how the hell did this ginger-pubed wanker end up poisoned in the first place?
And then Sluggy, he's like,
well, I'm afraid that's my fault, Professor. I sort of gave him this.
Ah, shit. Is Dumbledore enraged that he was drinking with kids after hours alone in his office? Nah, mate, he just takes the bottle and gives it a smell, and he says it smells delicious. If it weren't for all the poison, that is. And Sluggy, he goes,
yes, it's a fine bottle. I got it as a gift. In fact, I intended to re-gift it myself. Re-gift to who, Slughorn, you creepy old bastard? Well, sir, to you.
So it's another assassination attempt. Exactly, mate. But get this, that crazy chick with the curly hair comes in and she tries to jerk Ronno off in his sleep and Hermo is pissed. I really hate how much screen time this love triangle's getting. Me too, mate. Anyways, Ronno starts mumbling Hermo's bloody name in his sleep and that crazy bitch is gutted. So she lets go of his cock and just runs out the room crying. Wait, so she was just gonna wank him off right in front of the teachers and students? Nah, mate. But it was heavily implied. Of course it was. Anyways, Hermo, she's bloody loving this, isn't she? So everyone just leaves her alone in the room with Ronno so that she can just stare at him in his sleep the same way that James Franco stared at all the female students in his acting academy. Gross. Anyways, after that, Hazard, he's stalking Malfoy again, but he disappears into the room of bloody requirement, so Hazard can't even follow him. Why doesn't he just blow open the wall like Umbridge did in the last film? Because J.K. Rowling forgot she bloody wrote that, didn't she? Makes sense. No, it doesn't. Anyways, Malfoy, he puts a bird into the cabinet. You know, the one he's been stroking harder than an Olympic rower. And then the bloody bird disappears, doesn't it? Well, that's hardly a surprise. We already know what those cabinets do. Yeah, I know, but when he opens it, the birds come back. but it's bloody dead. So he's trying to transport something alive into Hogwarts and it's failing. Exactly, mate. Anyways, we cut to the next day and the crazy bitch is staring at Ronno from across the hall and she's looking like she wants to skin his balls with a rusty razor blade. Ouch, so they've finally broken up. Yeah, mate, because he mumbled Hermione's name in his sleep, remember? How does she even know what he was dreaming about though? Could have been something completely innocent, right? No idea. Anyways, who cares? Because fuck, I'm glad that storyline is over. But get this, bloody Katie Bell walked in the bloody hall, doesn't she? So now Hazza, he can ask her if she remembers anything. Oh, you bloody know it, mate, but he doesn't get the chance, does he? Because Malfoy's staring at Katie Bell from across the hall harder than an 18-year-old's cock who's accidentally taken some Viagra because his dad hid it in his dresser drawer and hid it inside a Mentos wrapper. That was way too specific. Did that happen to you? No comment. Anyways, Malfoy, he bloody legs it, doesn't he? So Hazza, he fangs it faster than 88 miles per hour right after him. So he goes back to the future. What? No, mate, he just finds him crying in the bathroom. Oh, I thought you were referencing Back to the Future. I don't even know what that is. You just lost all of my respect. You never had mine. Whatever, so why is he crying? Well, because he hasn't been eating enough fibre, has he? So now he's got a turd bigger than Godzilla's dick wedged up his tiny asshole, and he's tearing up his little balloon knot trying to push it out. Gross. Yeah, but then Hazza busts in, and he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, Malfoy, what fucking stinks in here? Nothing. Shut up, Potter. I think one of the sewage pipes is leaking. That's bullshit. You're a smelly bastard and a liar. And I know you cursed Katie Bell. So what does Malfoy say? He just starts shooting white stuff out of the end of his wand right at Hazza's face. He's jerking off. What? Nah, he's just firing spells. Come on, keep up. Anyways, he backs Hazza right into a corner. So Hazza has to improvise and he uses that spell, Sectum Sempra from the potions book, and it nails Malfoy right in the bloody chest. Shit, so he's like paralyzed or something. Nah, mate, he starts bleeding worse than that bloody elevator in The Shining. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and just when it looks like he's about to kick the bucket, Snape'o comes in and bloody heals him. Well, how does he know what curse Hazza just used? Ah, you're a perceptive little cunt, aren't you? Don't worry, we'll get to that. So anyways, we cut to Hazza, who's freaking out that he's hurt Malfoy so badly. I thought he hated Malfoy and thought that he was a Death Eater. Yeah, he does. Then why is he sad? Not really sure. I think maybe one of Malfoy's spells winged his left nutsack. And you and I both know that that's the most sensitive one. Oh, it sure is. Anyways, then Ginny says to him,
we have to get rid of that book. No one even uses them anymore. Everyone just uses ChatGPT.
She's got a point though, right? Yeah, she sure does. So she hides it in the room of requirement, doesn't she? And then get this. While they're in there, Hazza finds that cabinet that Malfoy's been stroking till it's chapped and bloody. Gross. So he finally figures out what Malfoy's up to and he tells Dumbledore. Nah, mate, he just watches a bird fly out of it and then him and Ginny start making out. What the? Yeah, I know. And she starts sucking on Hazza's face harder than one of those crawler things from the Alien franchises. So now I'm pretty sure that he's got like Ginny's eggs in his belly or something. Ouch. Anyways, we cut to the next day and Ronno is like, did you and Ginny do it then? What? No, I didn't touch her anus, Ron. I swear. Then Ronno's like, I'm talking about the book, you bloody nonce. Wait, what was that about my sister's anus? But right before Hazza can make up an excuse, old mate Sluggy walks around the corner and he sees Hazza and shits his bloody pants. And then Ronno's like, still no luck with Slughorn then? Luck! That's it, Ron, you ginger-pube twat. I just need some luck. So he's going to use the Felix Felicis finally. Yeah, you bloody know it, mate. Why didn't he just do that ages ago? No idea. That would have been the first thing I did. Also, if Slughorn made the potion, surely he could have made a counter potion to stop its effects from ever working on him. Yeah, that's true, but shut up, because it only bloody works, doesn't it? Of course it does. And Hazza, he looks like he's just drank a sample of Keith Richards' urine because he's higher than a motherfucker. So this was like liquid blood or hardcore narcotics? I think it was both, maybe. Anyways, Hazza's luck tells him to go down to bloody Hagrid's hut, doesn't it? Why? No idea. They never explain how it works, so just go with it. Anyways, he bumps into Slughorny on the way, doesn't he? And he's trying to steal some weed from the herbology shed. Nice. Slughorn's a stoner. Maybe I like him a little bit more now. Yeah, but he's also probably a pedo, so fuck him. Anyways, Hazza tells him that he can't stay and chat because he's off to Hagrid's. And Slughorny, he's like,
you can't go to bloody Hagrid's, you muppet. It's after hours. You need a teacher to escort you.
And then Hazza's like, well then, you better come with me, you old bastard. I like this geared up Hazza. He's fun. Yeah, I know. Anyways, they get to Hagrid's and he's got Aragog's dead body sitting in his front yard for some reason. Why? Because he's dead and I think Hagrid wants to give him like a spider funeral or something? I see. Seems a bit random, but go on. Well, then old mate Sluggy's like,
Hagrid, the last thing I wish to be is indecent, but I've never seen a spider's ball sack before. Do you mind if I take a peek?
Yeah, knock yourself out, Professor. The left knot is the best one.
trust me.
Gross. Anyway, Slughorn offers to say a few words at the funeral, and Hagrid, he's so touched that anyone would care about that weird spider thing that he was friends with, that he offers to have Sluggy and Hazza around for a few frothies. So Hazza is alone in the shack with both Hagrid and Slughorn, who are both intoxicated. Yeah, I know, mate. Pedo alert. Anyways, Hagrid and Slughorn get so smashed that they start asking Hazza to drive him to the Macca's drive-thru, but he keeps telling him that he's underage. I mean, he can drink alcohol, why can't he drive yet? Good point. Anyways, Hagrid gets way too sloshed, so he passes out on the kitchen table. And then Hazza, he's still geared up from the liquid luck, so he starts talking to Slughorny about his dead mother. Why the hell does he do that? Well, because Lily was one of his favourite students, wasn't she? Since when? Well, since that one time he mentioned it all the way back at the start of the movie, of course. Oh, yeah. Anyways, Hazza makes Sluggy cry, doesn't he? Because he tells Slughorn about his mother sacrificing herself to save him. And now that he's the chosen one, he's the only one who can beat old mate leukemia. Well, what does Slughorn say? Well, he finally gives Hazza the bloody memory, doesn't he? But he asks Hazza not to judge him or think differently of him after seeing it. And then Hazza's like, "Don't worry, sir. My opinion of you couldn't get any lower, trust me." Got him. So then Hazza takes the memory straight to Dumbo in his office, and the two of them bloody crack into it, don't they? Nice one. What do we see? Well, we see the same scene play out, don't we? The one where Tom stays back after class to ask him something. That seems a little bit lazy, reusing the exact same footage. Oh yeah, big time. But get this, the memory has a different ending this time. So this memory is like a director's cut. Exactly. And this time, Tom is like,
Sir, I was wondering if you could tell me about horcruxes.
I beg your pardon, Tom. How dare you? My wife is not a
No, sir. I said horcruxes.
Oh, right. Well, why the hell do you want to know about that stuff, Tom, you little psycho?
what's a horcrux? Well, that's the thing, right? Apparently, it's a way someone can split their soul in half and avoid dying. Okay, interesting. How does that work? Well, apparently, in order to split your soul, you have to kill someone to make it work. This stopped pretending it was a kid's series a long time ago, didn't it? Yeah, mate, but get this. Tom asks if it's possible to split one's soul 7 bloody times. And then Slughorny, he's like,
Jesus Christ, Tom, that's mental. This is all purely for academic purposes, isn't it?
"Of course, sir. Purely academic." How isn't this kid on a FBI watch list or something? Because they don't have jurisdiction in the UK, you wanker. That's MI4. And they're pretty shit, to be honest with you. I mean, just look at what they've done to the James Bond franchise. Pretty sure those are just movies, mate. Anyways, Tom reassures him that he's not going to do anything, but you can totally see in his eyes that he wants to murder some cunts. Then we cut back to Hazza, and he pulls his head out of Dumbledore's wet magic hole. Gross. And then Dumbledore's like,
This is beyond anything I ever imagined.
Do you mean he succeeded, sir, in making horcruxes, to try and cure his leukemia?
Yes, and I'd say not just once.
So then he shows him a ring and that diary from the second film. He said he knew that this was very dark magic, even back then. So he's been tracking them down. Yeah, exactly, mate. Apparently that's how he fucked up his hand, trying to destroy the ring. But I thought he said this was beyond anything he's ever imagined. Yeah, but he's a lying old bastard, remember? Oh yeah, that's true. Anyways, then Hazza touches Dumbledore's tight little ring, and then he gets flashes of bloody Voldemort. Gross. Then Dumbledore is like,
Magic, especially dark magic, leaves traces. So don't touch my stuff again, you little shit.
and then Hazza's like,
So this is where you've been going when you leave school, isn't it?
Yes, and this time I want you to come with me. It's going to be dangerous, and I might need to use you as a human shield.
sounds like something Dumbledore would do. I know, right? Anyways, Dumbo goes,
Once again, I must ask too much of you, Harry, you little wanker.
and then we cut to Snape'o and Dumbledore, and he's like,
Have you ever considered you ask too much, that you take too much for granted? Has it ever crossed your senile old mind that I don't want to do this anymore?
do what anymore? Well, that's another bloody J.J. Abrams mystery, isn't it? But I reckon he's just been asking Snape'o to clean his underwear, because he's an old man and he probably just shits himself a lot. I'd probably just hire a nurse or a cleaner, but Dumbo reckons it's way funnier just to get Snape'o to do it instead. Anyways, then Hazza rocks up, and Snape'o, he stares at Hazza like he just used a blue shell on him in Mario Kart right when he was about to cross the bloody finish line. Fuck, I hate when that happens. Yeah, you're telling me, mate. Blue shells should be bloody illegal. Anyways, Dumbo starts telling Hazza that he needs to shave, even though he has no hair on his face at all. And then he starts reminiscing, telling him about how much he's grown since that first little boy that he met who lived in a cupboard. So Dumbledore's gonna die. What makes you say that? Well, normally when two characters have like an intimate moment right before they go on a dangerous mission, that means one of them's probably gonna die. And Hazza's name, that's on the poster, so he's pretty safe, right? Fuck. Well, I'm not bloody telling you. You'll just have to wait and see. Okay, go on. I know I'm right. Anyways, Dumbo says to Hazza,
Before we go, I need you to promise me something.
What's that, sir?
You must obey my every word, no matter what. If I ask you to run, you run. If I ask you to hide, you hide. If I ask you to delete my browser history, you do so, and you don't pay any attention to all of the large penises you see on my laptop. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand, but why are there so many penises on your laptop?
Because I'm gay, Harry. Duh.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Anyways, Hazza and Dumbo apparate to a small rock in the middle of the ocean and they stare towards a big cave on the cliffside. So they're going into that cave? Yeah, you got that right, mate. Why didn't he just apparate in there? Now they have to bloody swim across. Yeah, true. What a bloody pelican. Anyways, they get inside the cave, but the entrance has been sealed by a big rock door, and Dumbledore has to cut open his hand to make the blood sacrifice necessary to open it. How does he know that that's what he needs to do? What if it didn't work? He'd have a bloody fucked up hand. Yeah, that's true. He just sort of just Da Vinci codes it. You know, he just stares at the wall and then somehow knows what to do. And then he tells Hazza that his blood is way too precious, so he couldn't afford to waste it, which is a really weird compliment if you ask me. Yeah, that's a bit off, isn't it? Anyways, they get through the door and there's a giant lake inside the cave and a small island at the heart of it. Then Dumbo uses a magic hand gesture to summon a chain from the water, and he makes Hazza pull on it till a small boat comes out from the bottom of the lake. Surely he could have used that same hand gesture to summon the boat. Why would he make Hazza do all that unnecessary physical labour? Well, turns out he reckons Hazza's way too scrawny and that no chick's ever going to want to make out with him unless he stacks on a few kilos of muscle. So then he hands Hazza a protein shake and the two of them get in the boat and take it across to the centre of the cave. Oh, okay, this is getting exciting. Is there like a big dragon or a troll or something? No, mate, there's just like a bowl of water with a necklace in it. What? Yeah, and apparently Dumbledore needs to drink the water to drain the bowl so that they can get the necklace from the bottom of it. Why? Well, because the script told him he had to do that, didn't it? Personally, I would have just used like a fire spell to evaporate the water, or maybe just like freeze it and then smash it on the ground and then just take the necklace that way. Yeah, that seems like a terrible plan. Oh, you know it, mate, because the water, it's been laced with some super strong LSD and Dumbo starts having this massively bad trip. So does Hazza give him a Powerade and a banana? Nah, mate, because remember, he promised Dumbo he'd do whatever he asked him to do. So he has to drink the whole lot of it, even when Dumbo's asking him to stop. Why? Because the script said so. Duh. Anyways, Dumbo manages to smash the whole fucking bowl by himself, which is a hero effort if you ask me. But get this. The drugs have left him thirsty. But he just drank all that water. Yeah, I know, mate, it makes no sense. Anyways, Hazza tries to get him to drink some more water, but when he goes back there, there's none in the bloody bowl. So he tries to use that Aguamenta spell to fill it back up again, but the bowl won't let him do it. Weird, so what does he do? Well, then he goes down to the water that surrounds the island and he tries to take some of that. That's fucking seawater. Is he trying to kill Dumbledore? Yeah, it's a fucking pelican move, I'll tell you that much. I'd have just said like Accio Powerade. Stop saying Powerade, would ya? They don't need bloody free endorsements from us. Anyways, he doesn't get a chance, does he? Because when Hazza dips his hand into the water to fill the bowl, a bloody zombie hand reaches out and tries to fucking pull him in. Oh, freaky. I know, right? Then the water around them starts pulsating and bloody Eshays start crawling out of the water. And now they're fucking surrounded. And all the Eshays, they're like, oh, give us a smoke, you dog. Or some Macca's milkshake. Well, don't make me stab you. Your dick for a ciggy. My sister thinks you're hot. Fuck, that sounds just like Dandenong train station. I know, right? Anyways, they bloody pull Hazza into the water. And just when it looks like he's about to kick the bucket, fucking flames start shooting through the water, killing all the Eshays. Shit, what's happening? Well, it's old mate bloody Dumbo, isn't it? He's whipped up a massive fire circle and he's killing all the bloody Eshays, which is super irresponsible because it's bushfire season and even one spark could set half the country on fire. What a cunt. Anyways, then Hazza, he has to carry Dumbo back to the boat because he's still coming down from those drugs and he's weak from making all those crazy ass flames. And then get this. We cut to bloody Malfoy, don't we? Damn, so Malfoy's finally going to make his move. You bloody know it, mate. So he sneaks out of his bed, and just as he does, we cut to Borgin and bloody Burks, and a bunch of the seedy-looking cunts are walking into the store. And get this, one of them starts stroking that cabinet hard and fast. Gross. Then Malfoy pulls a bloody blanket off the cabinet in the room of requirement, and you won't believe this, bloody Belladicks and a bunch of dick-eaters walk out of it. Oh, shit. I mean, I saw this coming a mile off, but oh, shit. So Hazza and Dumbo, they arrive back at Hoggies in the astronomy tower, and Dumbo's like,
get me Severus.
But sir, no, he's a cunt.
I know, but you said you'd do whatever I ask, so go get him now.
But he doesn't get a bloody chance, does he? Why not? Well, because someone's coming up the bloody stairs towards them. And Dumbo, he tells Hazza to go and hide. So Hazza stays and fights by his side, right? No, mate, he just hides like a little bitch. And then you'll never guess who emerges at the top of the tower. Malfoy? Yeah, I guess that was pretty obvious. And then he pulls out his bloody wand and he points it straight at Dumbo. Shit, so Malfoy is going to kill Dumbledore, healthcare CEO style. You bloody know it, mate, but the problem is, he's a chicken shit. And Dumbo, he goes,
Draco, you're not fooling anyone. You pretend to be hard, but we all know you're just a whiny little bitch. So drop the act and just let me help you.
But then Malfoy, he's like,
No, you don't understand. I have to kill you, or he's going to kill me.
I mean, I get that he's scared, but surely he could have spent less effort running away and getting his family to safety than coming up with this harebrained scheme. Yeah, true, but Malfoy's brain is almost as cooked as Ronno's. So Dumbo goes,
I know that was you trying to poison me, you little shit, and you gave me that cursed necklace. But how did you get people into the castle past my security?
Well, I just turned off the CCTV cameras, and then I used that conveniently placed transporting cabinet that was in the room of requirement.
Fuck, really? That was really obvious. I should have seen that coming.
Anyways, then Draco, he totally bitches out from killing Dumbo, doesn't he? And then Bellatrix and the bloody weird werewolf guy and the Dick Eaters rock up, and they're stoked because Dumbledore is weak and he's bloody outnumbered. Shit, so then Hazard jumps out and helps him fight, right? No, mate, he just keeps hiding beneath the floorboards like he's fucking Anne Frank or something. Idiots. Then get this. The bloody Dick Eaters won't kill Dumbo either, will they? Old mate Voldemort Leukemia says that it has to be Draco who does it. That's a weird order. Why would he risk the fate of his greatest enemy to a fucking child? Yeah, but like I said, leukemia's kind of destroyed most of his brain now because it's progressed to stage 4. Anyways, Snape'o rocks up next and he tells Hazard he's got to be quiet and stay hidden. Damn, so Snape'o's gonna save the day. I knew he wasn't a bad guy. No, mate, he just walks upstairs and then guns down Dumbledore like a rapper in a turf war, and then Dumbledore falls out the bloody tower window. Told ya. Knew he was going to die. I know, right? Anyways, then Bellatrix makes that massive necrophiliac skull symbol in the sky and then starts wrecking the joint. She's smashing windows, she stuffs toilet paper in the dunnies and then flushes them, so they overflow. And then she graffitis a massive cock with veins on it on the front door. Kind of sounds like the last day of year 12 at our school. Yeah, I know, right? Except no one died. At least I think they didn't. Anyways, Snape'o and the Dick Eaters, they leave the castle in secret, and then Bellatrix lights Hagrid's bloody hut on fire and starts laughing like one of those homeless people that you see on Swanston Street. Shit, is Hagrid inside? Nah, mate, but get this. Hazard rocks up and he starts shooting white stuff out the end of his wand right at Snape'o. Gross. And then he's like, Snape, he trusted you, you cunt. And then he starts spraying Snape'o with white stuff like it's a fucking bukkake session. But Snape'o, he won't bloody fight back, will he? Really? Why not? Well, you'll bloody see, mate. That's a J.J. Abrams mystery for the next bloody movie. For fuck's sake. And then Bellatrix blasts Hazard right in the chest, and Snape'o's like,
No, you dirty slag. He belongs to the Dark Lord. Now go. I shall deal with Potter Poopy Pants.
Then Hazard, he tries a bloody sneak attack on Snape'o, doesn't he? He uses that spell from the book, Rectum Sempra. But Snape'o, he blocks it easier than Danny D blocks a chick's anus with his huge fucking cock. You gotta stop with these Danny D jokes, man. Not gonna happen, mate. And then Snape'o goes,
You dare use my own spells against me, Potter? Yes, that's right. I am the half-blood simp.
Oh shit, that makes a lot of sense actually, because Snape'o, he's really good at potions and he's a massive simp. Yeah, exactly. But honestly, in the movie, it's kind of a shit reveal. In the book, it's sort of the core mystery of the whole story, to find out who the Half-Blood Prince is. But in the movie, Harry just kind of makes a few potions and then the Half-Blood simp has nothing to do with the plot at all. Yeah, that's true. That is pretty lazy actually. Yeah, it's super lazy. And then Hazard, he passes out, because he's weak like that. And then we cut to him and Hagrid walking back up to Hoggies, where everyone is gathered around Dumbo's dead body. Wait, so all the kids are just staring at the corpse of their headmaster and none of the teachers are trying to get them inside or get them to look away? No, mate, they make them bloody watch. And McGonagall, she's like,
This is what will happen to you all if you don't do your homework, you little shits.
That's cold as ice. I know, right? And then Hazard, he just kind of like starts stroking Dumbledore's corpse in front of everyone, which is really weird if you ask me. I mean, he did just lose his friend. Actually, wait. They barely ever spoke and he left him with the Dursleys for 10 years. Yeah, I know, he was a massive cunt. So Ginny, she realises he's making a total fool out of himself, so she goes and pulls him away. But he just starts crying into her chest, which I think was just like a low-key move to feel her tits. Gross. Anyways, Hazard pockets the necklace him and Dumbo stole earlier, and then all the kids light up their wands and hold them in the air. Like they're at a Bring Me the Horizon concert or something. Oh, I love that band. Yeah, me too, they're sick. Anyways, the next day we cut to Hoggies, and it's a bloody ghost town. All the students have gone home, because the headmaster was gunned down in cold blood. So Hazard, he's left to wander the halls alone. And then he wanders into Dumbledore's office, and McGonagall's there, and she's like,
Potter, it's a bit weird that you're lurking about in a dead man's office. But I must tell you this, Dumbledore, he was very fond of you.
Oh, that's cute. I like McGonagall. Yeah, but like you said earlier, he barely even knew Dumbledore, and he ditched him at the Dursleys for like 10 years. So McGonagall's just full of shit. That lying old bitch. I know, right? Anyways, then Hazard and Hermo, they're having another weirdly intimate moment at the top of the observatory. And Ronno, he's watching them thinking, shit, I fucked it up with that crazy chick, and now Hazard's moving in on Hermo. I missed my bloody opportunity. Fuck, I'm a loser. Is he really thinking that? Well, no, but it's heavily implied. Of course it is. Anyways, Hazza, he says he wants to kill Snapo for what he bloody did to Dumbledore. So then, Hazza shows Hermo the locket on that weird necklace thing they took. Apparently the thing's a bloody fake. Wait, so does that mean that Dumbledore died for nothing? Yeah, it seems that way. And get this, there was a note inside. So Hermo reads it out.
Dear Voldemort, I will be long dead when you read this, but I want you to know it was me. I hated working for you. The pay was terrible, and you didn't even give me private health insurance. So go suck a fat one. R.A.B.
Who's R.A.B.? Well, that's the thing. We don't find out till the last bloody movie. Well, the only character we know of with those initials is regulusblacked.com, but we've only really seen him referenced once in like Slughorn's photos. Couldn't be him though, right? They wouldn't hinge the core mystery of the last two movies on a character we've barely even heard from. No, they wouldn't do that. Anyways, Ronno, he finally says something, and he goes,
If you like this video, then leave a comment for the algorithm, you wankers.